Draymond Green, we always talk about how the stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, the little things that leads to Warriors wins. Now those little things that don't show up on the stat sheets are all we're talking about because the Warriors are losing. I wonder what your thoughts on Draymond Green's first 3 games of this series and his prospects
he had
are.
no game last night, Rich, as you know. He had no game.
Mm-hmm.
He had one basket on basically a backdoor, open dunk, wide open, not contested. He had no game. He had more. I think he had the same number of rebounds and points that he had fouls. I mean, he had no game. So they're not going to win this series with Draymond Green doing that. And I expect him to face up to that today. He did it last night. He criticized his own play, and it was worthy of criticism. I expect him to. This is what off days are for. I've constantly started to remind people that a sport with a series is not pro football. It's not. It's a series. It digs and it zags and it goes back and forth. We are so used to, as a culture, judging first and foremost the most popular form of sport entertainment we have in this country, which is pro football. We now think we can judge everything based on that model, and that would be dumb. A series goes back and forth, and people don't have, it's not determined by one great performance. It is not even determined by 2 or 3 great, because people have bad performances, even the greatest players. I was reminded that by the GOAT not too long ago, by Michael Jordan, who said to me, I had series with bad games. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And he said, yes, I did. And you were there for them. Go look them up. And so did Magic, and so did Larry, and so did LeBron. And so, so people have bad series in the games when they even maybe win the MVP. So Draymond was terrible last night. He had no game. Do I expect him to be terrible tomorrow? No, I would bet against it that Draymond will be good, not tomorrow, but Friday.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is tomorrow.
It is.
Even know what day it is, Rich.
Well, you should be out in front of a Dunkin's, to be honest with you, instead of a Starbucks in Boston, Michael. Not to be very critical of you. Not to be critical of you, but
that was nice and smooth. I like that. But Rich, I expect Draymond Green to be closer to, I'm not going to say vintage, but I expect Draymond Green to have an impactful game tomorrow. And I expect for him to be back in the column of, impactful players, and not where he was last night, which was a waste of time. Now, whether he has distracted himself with some of this nonsense, I don't know. That's not like Draymond. Draymond he understands who he is, and he has to be a distraction to the other team, and he can be an annoyance in his own locker room when he's agitating guys to be better. I expect that Draymond Green tomorrow, not whatever we saw last night.